What's up, Debt Free Mafia? Hey, welcome to today's video. I wanted to talk through my top 10 recommendations for saving money and cutting some corners in your budget. Not cutting corners, but cutting some costs in your budget so you can have a little extra cash. Maybe you need that extra cash for paying off some debt. Maybe you need it to save that emergency fund, or maybe you just need some extra cash because you got something fun coming up that you want to save for. Whatever it might be, we're going to talk through these top 10 things, and I'll speak just a little bit about each of them as we go through. So we're just going to jump right into it. I'll let you know right off the bat that number 3 is probably the most important one, but we're going to start with number 1. Okay, so number 1 is going to be cable, right? And everybody knows this, but there are so many people out there with cable. The average cable bill right now is $170 in America. $170. An average American spends $170 a month on cable. And I know that here with the younger generations, it's starting to become more popular for streaming services. And if that's an area where you can cut out, I strongly recommend it. For example, you can have YouTube TV, which has really great coverage in most channels for like $65 a month. They even have a free trial too. So that's something I recommend that we cut out, just because it's just so expensive, and these companies, they really try to bundle it so that you're not really paying attention to it. They'll try to bundle it with like phones or internet. So kind of pay attention to that. I don't recommend you spend anything over $75 a month on cable. That's because that's just crazy. That's ridiculous, right? Cable's a luxury. So if you want cable, let's get to the point where you can afford luxuries before you start buying it. Okay, next one's gonna be home and auto insurance. So these can be competitive, right? You got multiple companies who are trying to cover you. They can be very competitive. What I recommend is that you find a trusted independent insurance agent. So what I'm saying is, don't go to State Farm agent, go to a independent agent that will shop all of the companies for you. They'll shop Geico, Progressive, State Farm, etc. All the different insurance companies to find you the best rate with the coverage that you're looking for. I've had great success with our insurance agent. She saved us a lot of money. It's cool because she can help us, answer questions like, hey, do you work from home? Do you commute to work? We don't commute to work, so we both work from home for the most part, and it was able to save us a little, even more on our car insurance. So just things like that. If you find a good agent, I recommend it, just because they can. They'll let you know if they can save you money or not at the end of the day, and usually it's free. They'll get a quote for you for free. So go and check that out. Find somebody if you can. There are resources to find a local independent agent if you need that. Go ahead and let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to share it. So, all right, number 3, this is one of the biggest ones, and you probably already know what it is. That's eating out, right? And boy, I get it. Life gets so busy, it gets just tied up. It's easier to go and get a meal. I get it. I've been there. I've had to sacrifice a big eating out budget whenever we were really paying off debt and saving at the time. And it was really hard. But the average American is spending $3,000 a year on eating out. And it varies from state to state, but that's a lot of money overall. So that's one big area, and I really recommend that you cut that as close to the bone as you possibly can. I know that it's really hard. Like, for example, we got sick not too long ago, and it was way easier to eat out than it was to cook meals whenever the majority of the family's sick and there's just not a lot of help to go around. So I recommend that you cut that as close to the bone. And most of you already know that, and you're gonna be smart about it going forward, right? So anyways, we're gonna jump into this next one. That's gonna be memberships and subscriptions. So this is always funny to me, because whenever I sign a new client up, when we have that very first meeting, we go through their subscriptions and memberships, and it's funny because most of the time, most of the clients are like, yeah, I had all these different subscriptions that I went ahead and canceled because I wasn't using them, and they cancel them before I even have the meeting, right? So it's just funny because there's so many subscriptions. It's like everything is subscription based now, because it's easy to forget. It's cheap. It's not a huge cost on our bill. One-time cost, right? So it's really easy to forget about, to get tucked away. It happens automatically most of the time, and you just have no idea because you don't see it. You don't see the money leaving, right? You just kind of all of a sudden isn't there because they automatically charge. So go through, reevaluate. I challenge you right now to go and double check on all your subscriptions. See if you haven't used them in the last 2 or 3 months, I recommend you cut them, right? Because you obviously didn't really need it. Okay. Oh yeah, and then I'm definitely guilty of this, but who has a gym membership that they used for the first 2 months and haven't used in, the last 5, right? So recommend that you go look at those. Okay, number 5, this is gonna be entertainment, right? Gotta remember that entertainment is a luxury, right? So we need to be in a state where we are having extra cash flow to where we can afford entertainment. Now, I'm not saying don't just completely have no fun at all. I'm big on celebrations. I'm okay with saving extra money to go bowling for the kid's birthday, whatever that might be. But this is one of those things where I don't want it to be like, hey, we're massively in debt. We're trying to pay all this debt off. We're trying to save for a home, whatever it is, but I'm spending $500 a month on golf, right? I love golf too. It's super fun. It's also super expensive and keeps you from hitting the financial goals that you have. So get to the point where you get in a great financial position, then start golfing your face off, right? Okay, next one. This is going to be number 6. This is clothes, right? So clothes is a must-have. You've got to have it in your budget because everybody needs clothes. Last time I checked, we don't walk around naked. Haven't since Adam and Eve messed everything up, right? Definitely not blameless there. But anyways, we've got to have clothes. That's an important one. However, let's not excessively spend on our clothing, right? Because we need the bare essentials, and I'm a big believer in this. If you haven't checked out the Minimalist Less Is Now documentary, I strongly recommend it, and because I believe in their philosophy of let's not have a lot of clothes, but let's have really, really good clothes and less of them, right? So it's okay for you to spend extra money on a shirt, whatever it might be. If that's something you want, as long as it's a nice shirt. But let's not just keep on buying lots and lots of stuff, even if it's cheap. It starts to add up over time. Let's be smart. That's one area we can back up on. If you feel like you have plenty of clothes for the time being, maybe you need to take a pause on it for a few months before you start stashing away a little bit of money for it. Okay, this next one is number 7. This is groceries. Now this one's hard because it can be just a little bit controversial. At the end of the day, you have to feed yourself, right? So I want you to have enough money to feed yourself. However, you've got to understand that eating healthy and eating organic is a luxury, right? And you might not be in the position to be able to afford a luxury. And I'm not saying compromise your health, right? I'm saying be smart, understand that if you're not able to take care of your finances, at the end of the day, you're going to be in a really tough spot. You're not going to be able to afford potential health care, right? And we just don't know what tomorrow's like. And that's it is controversial because people think that they need to buy some of the best stuff possible, even if that's true. And sometimes, if because I've had clients who want to eat organic. Sometimes the organic stuff is cheaper, but I just want you to be smart. Kind of pay attention to what you're spending. My goal when you're budgeting for your groceries is to not spend more than $150 per person a month. That's my goal. Max 200, right? So if you have my goal for like a family of 3 would be $450 for the month, right? That would be the goal. So that's my recommendation on groceries. Be really smart there. Make smart choices. Remember that it's a luxury to eat well. It always has been. So be smart. Get into the position where you can afford to eat well. Okay. And you can still eat good, cheap. It's still possible, so don't get me wrong. Okay, number 8 is going to be hair and nail care. I know, ladies, this is an important one to you, and I want it to be an important one to you. I know we got to get our hair done. I know that nails are important also because, we got to look appropriate for the workplace a lot of times, or just it's nice to look appropriate in general. And I get that. I enjoy a really good haircut, even though you can't tell right now. However, this is something that instead of maybe getting it done every month, especially if you get like coloring and stuff where your hair appointment's $150, maybe we need to skip to where we have a hairstyle that will allow us to do it every other month. I know. But let's do this for the time being. Again, we want to hit those goals so that you can afford to splurge in these areas that are important to you. But if we're trying to trim the budget right now, let's stay laser focused and make the sacrifices now so we don't have to later. Nail care. There's other options. You could save up and have your own I forget what it is. It's the little blue, purple light thing that you can put your nails in that they do. You can get your own that'll harden the gel if you prefer the gel nails. I don't know what I'm talking about with that kind of stuff, but that's something my wife does. She does her own nails because it just helps save a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, she still loves going in getting a manicure every now and then as a treat, but she decided to start doing her own nails and doing them at home with her own machine because it just saved us a lot of money. So props to her on that. Next one is going to be lowering bills, right? So there are a lot of options when it comes to bills. I would call up your provider and ask them what the alternatives are. If you live in the state of Texas and you are part of the open grid system, so there's a few areas in Texas that don't count. However, if you're in the open grid system in Texas, I always recommend to my clients that they check out a company called Energy Ogre. Energy Ogre is somebody who saved us a lot of money on our electricity. I'm serious, like our September electric bill last year was $200. I'd be shocked if it's more than 120 next month when we get it. So I'm interested to compare because we'll have them for a full year next year. I just mentioned that real quick. If you want to go and check them out, I actually partnered with them just because I think they're an awesome company. My promo code's Mafia. It'll save you extra, I think $10 on their service. So go ahead, head over there, use that. That'll probably help you. But anyways, if you don't live there, just be sure to negotiate with your providers, do a little bit of research, see if there's other options to save a little bit of money for your bills, because there are some options in a lot of cases. Okay, last one, and this one is something that I kind of talk with a lot of folks, but I want you to kind of pay attention to how much you're spending on paper goods. This could be paper plates, paper towels, kind of stuff like that. Obviously, we need toilet paper, so I'm not saying don't use that. But let's go back to using dishes. I know it's a pain to do the dishes, but paper plates are an extra expense that we don't really have to have. Again, paper plates are a luxury, and then also paper towels are a luxury, right? So dry your hands off with a rag and use that rag or hand towel, and wash that hand towel instead. Something that could be used repeatedly and not just one time like a paper towel. It's a really good area to cut out, at least probably like 20 or 30 bucks every couple months out of your budget. So that's another little good area. But let me know, what did I forget? What have been some good areas for you down below to be able to pay off your debt? Be able to budget to trim. Again, another bonus tip is paying off your debt. I know it's obvious because this is the debt-free mafia, but being able to pay off your debt only opens up cash flow in your budget so that you can be able to pursue the things that you want to spend extra on, right? So I hope that was helpful. I hope those tips are helpful. Again, let me know in the comments what's a good area where you have trimmed to save some money. And then, guys, again, my name is Financial Coach Rick. If you want to be a part of the Debt Free Mafia, hit subscribe, hit the like button. I'd love to have you here. Guys, I appreciate your time. Hope you have a good day. Peace.